welcome to Camille's Country Corner. I am Camille, and on today's episode we will be making chicken tortilla soup, and we will also be making some apple bread, and it tastes like a coffee cake. It's delicious. All right, let me show you what you need for this recipe. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Definitely hit that like button. Let's get started. For this recipe, it looks like a lot of ingredients, but some of these are toppings. So you will need some diced tomatoes with green chilies, some regular diced tomatoes, some corn, black beans, minced garlic. We're going to use some ground cumin, some chili powder, some cilantro because my store did not have any fresh cilantro today. We're going to use a rotisserie chicken, but you can definitely use some chicken breasts here. And for our toppings, we have some assorted toppings. All right, let's get started with this recipe, shall we? Okay, there's not a lot of prep to this one. So we're just gonna dice up an onion. I've already cubed and shredded the rotisserie chicken. And everything else is pretty much a dump and go. This recipe comes together pretty quick. I have browned the onions a bit, just made them a little bit soft. And from here, we're just going to pretty much dump and go everything else. So I added about 2 cloves of garlic. I am adding 2 10-ounce cans of tomatoes with diced chilies. I am not draining those. I have 1 14.5-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. I have 1 can of corn, and it's 15 1/4. I did not really drain that as well. I'm going to go ahead and add all of my chicken, probably about 2.5 cups. My store did not have fresh cilantro, so we're going to add about a tablespoon of cilantro dried, about a teaspoon of cumin, and about a teaspoon of the chili powder as well. And then we are going to add 32 ounces of chicken broth. I have my bone broth here. Go ahead and add it. I'm going to add a little bit more because I didn't have quite 32 ounces. So we're going to put this on the stove and cook this for about 30 minutes. And I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's all complete. And I forgot to add the black beans, so don't forget to add your 15-ounce can of black beans. I did rinse those. And at the end, we're going to add some cream cheese, and I'll show you that step as it comes up. While we are waiting for our soup to come together, we are going to go ahead and start our apple bread. So we will need some flour, sugar, baking powder, a couple of eggs, salt, vanilla, some nuts. I have pecans and walnuts here. We're going to need about 4 medium to large apples. We're going to need some milk. And then for our topping, similar items, and I will show you that as we get closer. We're going to start out by peeling these apples. And we're just going to dice them up. You can shred them if you don't want pieces of the apple in your bread, but I actually like the pieces. All right, let me show you what we're looking for. Just a nice dice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get these all diced up. All right, to our bowl, we are going to be adding a half a cup of softened butter, and I already have 1 cup of sugar in my bowl. So let's go ahead and cream that together. We're going to go ahead and add 2 eggs. We also need a teaspoon of vanilla. I have 2 cups of flour here. We're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of our baking powder. And we need a half a teaspoon of salt. All right, we'll also need a half a cup of milk, so let me get a measuring cup for that. We just need a half a cup of milk of your choice. Go ahead and mix this up a bit. All right, I'm going to add half of our mixture. Beat that in. And about half of our milk. Other half of our mixture, dry mixture, rest of our milk. Okay, and then we need 1.5 cups of apples. I probably have about 2 cups here. I don't mind. And I'm going to add about a half a cup of nuts as well. And I'm just going to fold this in. All right, I have a bread pan, just a regular size bread pan, loaf pan, and I have it parchment paper in the bottom. And these little clips, these little binder clips, help to hold the paper down. And it makes it easy for me to get this out after it's been cooked, or baked, I should say. Go ahead and put the whole thing in here. Okay, now this is a Dutch apple, so we're going to have a streusel topping on this. So to our streusel topping, I am going to add, ooh, that was noisy, 1/3 cup of flour. Let me grab that measuring cup since I have not done that. All right, we need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Use what you have. Today I have light brown sugar. And we will need 2 tablespoons of just regular granulated sugar. Okay, and let me grab the cinnamon. We will need 2 teaspoons of our cinnamon. We are going to use 5 tablespoons of cold butter. And I'm just going to cube this up just to make it easier to combine. If you have a pastry cutter, this is the time to pull it out. If not, you can use a fork, or you can use a knife, 2 knives together by doing like a cutting action against each other. And you want this to resemble sand or like pea-sized pieces. So I'll bring you back. All right, we've got our streusel topping. That's what it's supposed to look like. And we are going to sprinkle this all over the top. Just spread it out evenly. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees, and we are going to bake this for approximately 1 hour. I will show you what this looks like when we make the glaze. All right, now that the soup is done, I've added about a half a cup of the cream cheese because I like my tortilla soup to be creamy. So I'm just going to mix this all in, and I'll bring you back when it's done. All right, we're going to make the glaze for our bread. In my bowl, I have 1 tablespoon of melted butter. And we're going to add a half a cup of the powdered sugar. Add 1 tablespoon of milk. And a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're just going to whisk this all together. That way we won't have any lumps in it. Okay, then we're just going to drizzle over top of our cake or our bread. All right, we're going to let that sit up, and I'll bring you back and we will plate it up. All right, now that we are done, I have 1 quart of soup left. We actually ate before I filmed it all. So we've got 1 quart of the chicken tortilla soup. It actually fed us for our dinner, so that's what it was being made for. And here is the apple bread. It's nice and moist and absolutely delicious. Chock full of apples and nuts. I hope you give these recipes a try. If you do, let me know how yours came out or what version of it you made. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'm sure glad you stopped by here today. Have a good one.